Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jonny Bowden. You know, I'm always thinking of a way that I could get people who don't really pay a lot of attention to what they eat to pay more attention to what they eat and to really see how important it is. And it's a very hard thing to do, especially with younger people, because this is the truth. This stuff tastes great. It tastes great. And as a former drug addict, I can tell you it's exactly the same as drugs. They feel great. But there's a cost, and I think I finally figured out an image that people could use to shift their relationship away from this stuff and towards this stuff. It's not theoretical, it's very real. And it has to do with the air we breathe. Now, everybody right now, 2020, September, is conscious of air quality for many, many different reasons. We know that unseen microbes travel through the air and that you can catch stuff. Out here where I live in Southern California, we just experienced one of the worst wildfire disasters in history. And you could see the air pollution, you could see the stuff right in front of the sun. It was horrible. You could breathe it, you could taste it, you could smell it. Most of the time it's not like that. Most of the time you just kind of take it in and you don't even realize that it's doing the damage that it is. Well, food is exactly like air. Just as there's that polluted air that hasn't been cleaned or filtered and has surfaces that haven't been washed and microbes are floating around in it, or particles from the wildfires, and they're doing their damage when you breathe them, just as that does damage to you, so does this, and you don't notice it. So if, for example, you had a choice of either going into a big, large enclosure with all that crummy air, like an airplane, where they just recirculated all the same diseased air, right? And you could either go there, or you could walk into some beautiful, idyllic place where the air was clean, there was no pollution, there was grass, there was sunlight. Which would you choose, and why? It is exactly the same thing here. This stuff does metabolic damage over the years that flies under the radar. And we don't know it until we get sick. And if you look at all of the underlying conditions that spell disaster if you get sick later in life, what are they? Diabetes, obesity, prediabetes, metabolic syndrome, heart disease. These are all cardiometabolic diseases, and that's what gives them to you. Except you don't see it right away. It does small, insidious damage, just like breathing polluted air. And it doesn't catch up with you till your doctor says, oh, Mr. Jones, your cholesterol or your triglycerides are really elevated and your A1C is off the charts. Then you find out, but it started here. This food gives life. This is the equivalent of walking out of that airplane air into that fresh, beautiful, idyllic scene where the air is clear and pure and there's fresh water and sunshine and nothing sprayed with anything. Which would you rather live in? I eat this stuff all day long. I graze on it. Randomly. Cheese, grass-fed beef, milk, Malaysian palm oil, olive oil, ghee, butter, vegetables, berries, nuts. I even make a juice almost every day out of just this stuff. Well, maybe not the meat and the nuts, but everything else. Anything that's in the refrigerator. And I can tell you, as I round out my 73rd year, I'm going to be 74 next month, that I am very, very sure that the reason I feel the way I do, and the reason I'm so passionate about telling you how you can feel that way at 74, is because of this. That's not only this. I had good parents, I had a great environment, and as I talk about in my books, health is never just about food and exercise. It's about your relationships in your community and your contribution and your love life and your digestion and your sleep, and all of those things contribute to health. But it starts here. And if you're feeding yourself food that is literally chipping away at your metabolic health day by day by day, and you don't even notice it until suddenly you're 30 or 40 or 50 and you're going, where's my energy? Where'd my life go? It went to that. And if you can start to see this not as this friendly little comfort food, but as a true robber of vitality in life, you can start to make that shift. It's a really quick shift. It'll take 60 seconds. This is the bad air, folks. This is the stuff that gives you health, life, and energy. And one more thing, if that's not enough of a motivation, there have been a number of studies done now where they take mice, genetically identical mice, right? And they feed one group the same number of they feed two groups the same number of calories. One group gets calories that are the mouse equivalent of this crap, and the other gets the mouse equivalent of this. And that's what they look like. That's what they look like. And even if you don't look like that from eating this, you can be sure that the metabolic damage is still there. Because this is not life-giving, it's not health-giving, it's health-removing. And if we could just make that shift to the level of life and vitality and energy and enthusiasm that can be gotten by nourishing your body with the stuff you were meant to eat and not the stuff you weren't meant to eat, we could make an enormous shift in the health of the planet, and you could make an enormous shift in your own health. This is Jonny Bowden, and I'll see you on the next video.